Hello, and welcome back to yet another episode of Literally My Life, My Guide to Girlhood, hosted by Alex Elamine. I am so excited to be doing another episode. I've lost count on how many episodes we have. I think we have like 25 at this point, I'm guessing. I don't know. I'm still happy to be your host 7 months later, almost 8. I'm just so happy to continue to be doing My Guide to Girlhood. Today we are going to be talking about big friend groups, I'm sure as you could tell by the title, and I'm going to be giving you guys my opinion on why I think big friend groups really work. But feel free to change your mind. So I'm going to be talking about my experience with a big friend group. I'm going to be talking about jealousy and competition. I'm going to be talking about girls. We're going to be diving into all of the topics. But before we get into that, I want you guys to do me a favor. I want you guys to follow at Literally MGTG on Instagram and TikTok, and subscribe to Literally My Life, My Guide to Girlhood's YouTube channel. Yes, you heard me right. We recently got a YouTube channel, and I am posting on there today. I'm doing a double episode every Monday, and it's crazy, and it's so much filming, but I love it, and I love you guys, and I love my job, and I love doing this. So let's get into it, but not before you follow at Literally My Life MGTG on Instagram and TikTok, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Okay, now we can get into it. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. You're probably like, who hurt you? Like, I have a big friend group of 16, 17 people, and we're fine. And I promise you, you're not fine. I have so much experience with this, and I'm going to first start with the first story, because it's going to be a couple of stories, okay? This is going to be a big rant, but it is literally my life, okay? So when I was about to be a freshman in high school, when I was I was in the 8th grade about to be a freshman in high school, my best friend and I had a friend. I won't say his name, but we're going to call him Jordan. Okay. Jordan had a girlfriend, and we're going to call her Marie. Okay. I like these little names. Okay. So Jordan and Marie were dating, right? So obviously me and my best friend Sky were like, okay, we'll all be friends. Like me, you, Jordan, and Marie, like we'll all be friends because we were already friends with Jordan, right? So Marie was really nice to us. No issue. But Marie was one of those people, and I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, who are like friends with everyone. So like every guy, every girl, like everyone you can think of, she's friends with them. So it was like, okay, cool. I thought it was a little weird, like a little suspicious, but I was like, okay, fine. Like, okay, Marie, get it, girl. Maybe you're just like a nice girl. Marie's friend group, I'm not even kidding, had like 11 to 12 13 people. Like, it was huge. She had a best friend the way I have a best friend, and then they just all, like, they'd had like a huge friend group, and it was so weird to me. But I thought it was cool. I thought it was like, you know, like you're young, you're like, oh my god, I wish I had a big friend group of like 14 people, and they were all at my house all the time, and we all made TikToks together, and we were all friends, and it was great. Because, you know, that's what you see from the outside. And then I was like telling that to Jordan one time, and Jordan was like, no, they literally all hate each other. And when I tell you, that was like the biggest shock to me, because I thought they were all like the best of friends and this, that, and the no, they literally hated each other. So I asked Jordan, I'm like, Jordan, do they all hate each other? Like, why do they all hate each other? And he was like, it's fake. Like, do you really think a friend group of like 14 people, everybody's going to get along and there's going to be kumbaya? And it made me realize, I was like, if trios don't even work, because you know, everybody knows trios don't work. If trios don't even work, do you think friend groups of like 14 to 16 people are going to work? No. And I'm going to tell you guys why. No matter what, there will always be two people in no matter if it's a group of 4, 5, 10, there's always going to be a group of two people who actually like each other. You know what I mean? My best friend and I have been in friend groups before, and it's always been like us clicking, and then like we'll talk, like, and you know what I mean? Like, we'll click, and then we'll talk about the other people if they do something weird or stupid because we click. It's going to be like that in every situation, no matter how big the friend group is. It's going to be two people who really do like each other, and then the rest are like filler friends. I promise you. And so if you're not one of those two people who really like each other, or if you don't find someone else who you really like form an alliance with, you're just going to feel left out. You're going to feel like a filler friend the whole time. And that's how the entire friend group felt, because it was Marie and her best friend, and they clicked, and everyone else was like a filler friend. And it just got messy. Like, the guys started dating the girls. It was just so messy. And the friend group eventually fell apart. It actually fell apart. So Marie and Jordan broke up because it was actually Jordan's fault. So I felt bad about it. But Marie and Jordan split. They went their separate ways. And somehow, I don't know how, Marie's friend group literally just went downhill after the breakup. Like, everything went downhill, and it was so weird to watch, like, from an outsider looking in. Because I remember, like, when they were dating, they would all go to, like, the zoo lights together, and they were, like, a big friend group, and everybody hung out, and it was so much fun, and it was, like, a couple and the best friends, and it was just great, and it was, like, everything like a teenager wants. And then to just see how it all went to, like, shit is insane. Like, it all went to shit within, like, a year. So that was my first story, even though I wasn't involved, like, I wasn't in the friend group, because it was literally just me and my best friend, and we would just, like, watch everything, because we're, like, nosy. I was convinced then and there, I was like, big friend groups, they will never work. Change my mind. Okay, now I'm going to talk about why I wrote down 4 reasons why I think big friend groups often fail. And I wrote communication breakdowns, diverse personalities, jealousy and competition, and lack of intimacy. And we're going to get into all 4 of those, so get comfortable. So the first thing being communication breakdowns, and I think this really ties in with the lack of intimacy, because here's what I'll say. If you do not have a meaningful relationship with each individual in this friend group, you are not going to have the same loyalty and respect towards them, which is where the communication breakdown comes. So if I'm in a friend group of like 14 people, but I don't really know all 14 people, like I'm only really friends with like 7, and one of like the other 7 people that I don't really know does something stupid or says something high-key shady, or like even if that wasn't their intention, like they do something to me that I don't like, I'm obviously going to say something to my actual friends of 7 people and be like, hey, that person did something high-key weird, or like said something I didn't like, or this, that, and the third, and we'll all talk about it. And maybe that'll mean like my group of 7 people within this friend group of 14 people doesn't like that one person. Like, it'll just be weird, you know what I mean? So I feel like if you do not have a true and meaningful connection with each and every person in this huge friend group, there's going to be a communication issue. Absolutely. Because just think about it, in the real world, even if you are friends with one person and you don't know each other that well and they do something to you, even if it wasn't like their intention to hurt you or shade you or whatever, you're not automatically going to give them the benefit of the doubt because you don't fucking know them. So you're not going to give them that same loyalty and respect that you would give like your best friend in the whole entire world, because you know your best friend in the whole entire world and you have a meaningful relationship with them. So therefore, shit ain't gonna work. It's the same thing with diverse personalities. Like I said, I think that in those big friend groups, they're usually people who are like thrown together. Like, I don't really feel like big friend groups most of the time are like people who all went to like middle school or high school, or like they know each other from something. I feel like sometimes they're just people who are thrown together by one person, like it was with Marie's friend group. And so they're going to have different personalities. They're going to clash in some ways. So they're going to have different personalities and different interests. And so like in Marie's group, there was like one guy who really liked makeup. He was like a big makeup person. And then there was like 3 really masculine, straight guys who were like really into sports, and then there was like girls who were like into volleyball, and other girls who were like really prissy, and other girls, like it just didn't work. Everybody was like different, everybody had differing interests, and I think most of the time, now I'm not saying opposites don't attract, but I think most of the time in friendships, you're going to be really close with people you have a lot in common with. My best friend and I will have her on the podcast one day, my best friend and I are literally the same person. My best friend and I have everything in common to the T. Like, are we different in some areas? Yeah, I think my best friend's a lot nicer than I am, but that's pretty much it. Like, my best friend and I, we think the same, we react the same, we tell each other everything. We are the same. Like, and not to be weird, but like we're the same. And that's why I think we're best friends, because we like just understand each other in a way like we don't understand other people, because we think the same. And that's what and that's what I think. But I'm not saying, I have other friends who I get along really, really well with who are very, very different than I am. But I'm just saying the reason my best friend and I are like best friends is because we see each other. And that's how it works most of the times. And then the last thing is jealousy and competition. Now, I see this a lot with girls. I can't really speak on guys because I really have one guy friend. Like, I've only really had like one true guy friend in my like entire life. So I see this a lot with girls. I have been in groups of girls who are really jealous of me. Like, I've struggled with that a lot. And I'm not trying to be like, oh, like, everyone's jealous of me and I have no issues and I'm like perfect. Oh, didn't mean to hit the mic. And I'm like perfect and stuff, because that's not true. I'm sure I've done things wrong. I can definitely hold myself accountable. But in my experience, I have issues making, and we'll get into that in a second. I have issues making real friends with girls in like big girl groups because I feel like there's always like jealousy and animosity and competition about things. And it's weird. Like when a girl, usually me, starts, that's awful to say, but like usually me, starts going out with a guy who's like really hot or really successful or this, that, and the third, there's usually a lot of competition and ammunition. And I talked about this in friendship breakups. I literally had a friend who I liked a guy who was like really cute, who's like a big basketball player, he's this, that, and the third. And I asked her to talk to him for me, and this bitch literally started like talking to him, like literally talking to him for herself. Like she took him for herself. That literally happens all the time. Like girls will get so jealous. And I don't know if she really had an interest with him or if she just didn't want me to have everything. I don't know. I could do like a whole deep dive on that again. Like we can really talk about that over and over because I never got over that. Like really, bitch? Like really? But I feel like there's always jealousy and competition. Like if I did something, I feel like she had to do something. I'm going to give her a nickname. Her nickname is going to be Tanaya. No, her nickname will be Reese. How about that? Reese literally always had to one-up me in every way. And it was so weird. Like because, you know, I always wear my natural hair or whatever. And she used to always say, like, oh, I love your hair. I love how long it is, whatever. And so she used to always wear her hair, like, in braids or whatever. As soon as we started being friends, she started getting, like, bundles. Her hair was long, black. Like, you don't think I beat that shit? Now, she just did a lot of stuff. She always had to one-up me with stuff. If I literally was friends with, like, one guy who's pretty hot and successful, and that went to shit as well. But she became friends with, like, literally every hot guy there ever was and was, like, their best friend and hung out with them and became team manager. And it was just, like, she always had to one-up me with stuff. And it was so weird. And it was, like, I don't know if she hated my guts secretly or if she wanted to be me secretly. I don't know what it was. But I feel like that situation happens all the time. There's always jealousy and competition in female friend groups, especially when they're large. Absolutely. There's always one girl who's the odd one out, and that was me. And they're always singled out, and the other girls like each other, and it's just, I have trauma from it. And I will, therefore, never get into a big friend group of all women, ever. Now, here is how I identified who was my real friends and who wasn't. So I feel like there are 4 traits that every real friend kind of like embodies, and I wrote them down. So it was consistency, honesty, they're supportive, and a positive influence on you. Okay, so with the consistency, I just talked about how I was sick my entire junior year, and I really went through it. And I went through it my sophomore year. I was in like a lot of shit all the time. Like I wish I had the podcast sophomore year. I would have story after story after story after story. It would be so fun. It would be literally hilarious. But no, I went through a lot. And my real friends literally always stuck with me. There was a time when people were so against me. Like, it was like my, like, you know when they did the Taylor Swift is over party, like, with the Kim Kardashian thing? There was a time it was like that with me, where it was just like, Alex is over. And everyone kind of, like, turned their backs on me. And I still had a solid group of people who actually really loved me. And they were always there for me through the times when everyone hated me, through the times when everyone loved me, through the times when I was in the hospital. All of those times, my friends were there for me. They checked up on me. They called me. They sent me stuff. We went to dinner literally Saturday night for my friend's birthday party, and it was just so refreshing to have those real friends. And they always never, like, let anyone talk about me, and it was just, they were always there for me. And they were consistent with it. And that's why I love my friends. I really, really do. And then with honesty, my friends are very honest with me. Like, they are so genuine with me. And that's what I love about my friends, the genuineness of our friendship. That sounds so corny, but it's so true. My friends will say, you know what, this person did say this about you. Like, I'll be like, oh, have you heard? Because I wasn't at school junior year, so I'd be like, did people say this about me? And they'd be like, yeah, people said it about you. I don't really give a fuck. I don't really care what you do. I love you, and I love you for you. And they were very genuine with me. And I know for a fact, because of how honest they are, like, they never say shit about me. And I never say shit about them because I love them and they love me and they're genuine and they're supportive. My friends, when I started this podcast, I was like, no one is going to fucking listen to this. Everyone is going to think like, oh my God, this bitch started a podcast. Like, really? And when I started like all the YouTube and stuff, I was like, no one is going to listen to this stuff. Like, literally my life is going to be a flop and I'll probably be done with it within like 3 weeks. And my friends were so fucking supportive. Like, my first episode did so well. Like, numbers were insane. And they just kept going up and kept going up. And I would literally have my friends be like reposting it. Or I'd have my friends literally like text me, be like, I fucking love the podcast. Like I put my friends on. Like I love the podcast. It was so insane. Like I got so much support, and that was a big thing for me with like literally my life. Like it showed me a lot of like who my friends were. Like they were like, we fucking love the podcast, and all my friends listen to it and they love it. And I literally had one of my friends on it. I had Penelope. Shout out to you, Penelope. And I've literally had so much fun with it, and it's been insane. But they've also supported me in everything else I've done. Like they've come to all of my birthday parties, or they'll come to all of the dinners I plan, or they just support everything I do. And now that I'm like pursuing like this like little podcasting internet journalism career, they're very supportive with it, and I love that. And they show up for me in every single way. They're always there when I need someone to talk to, when I want to tell somebody something, like I have a juicy piece of gossip. They're literally always there for me, and that's how I always identify who my friends are. And then the last thing being a positive influence. Now personally, it may be different, I don't have the time in my life right now to be friends with someone whose values don't align with mine. Like personally, I'm very clean cut. I don't really smoke. I don't smoke at all, actually. I don't drink. I party, I have fun, but I'm like not the biggest party girl, and I'm really focused on like my academics and my career. Like and God. Like those are my three: God, academics, career. That's all it is. Going to college. That's all it is with me. And of course I have time for like leisure time and my friends and all of that good stuff. But that's my main focus, like getting shit done. I'm a workaholic. I like to get that shit done. And that's how I am with my friends. Like my friends are the same way. We talk about scholarships we found. We talk about volunteer opportunities to get service hours. We talk about colleges that we may be interested in. We always talk about that stuff. And I just don't have time right now at this point in my life to be friends with people whose values don't align with that. Whose values are like, oh, smoking and sex and all that stuff. Although, like, I get it, like, have your fun or whatever, but my true friends, like, all of our values align. Like, when I hang out with my friends, and I'm not trying to say I'm better with someone than people who do, but, like, we don't smoke weed or, like, do stuff like that. Like, we're, like, getting shit done. And I don't have the time to be friends with people who don't want to get their shit done. I'm sorry. And I really, really love my friends. I really, really do. And I'm so glad and so fortunate to have such genuine friendships. And I really wish all of you can experience that and not have to deal with the animosity and the craziness. And I promise you the first step to that is to cut your friend circle down. So recently I got into a conflict with a friend I've known since I was 6 years old because, one, she wasn't my real friend. We went to the beach together, I would say last week or the week before last or something, and I was 30 minutes late. Total cunt. She was a total cunt. She was so rude to me the whole time, isolated me, just singled me out, and it was just awkward silence, and she made it a very bad day. And I realized then, I was like, we're not going to be fucking friends. That was so rude of you, and my real friend would not act like that. And then she decided to attack my character on Friday by saying I would flirt with her situationship of a year and a half. She said I was flirting with him, which I wasn't doing. I don't know if he was telling her that, this, that, and the third, but he's not my type. I think we all know my type. If you know me, you know my type. He's not my type. And it hurt me so much because she decided to attack my character when she's known me since I was 6 years old. And I've had that happen to me before. I literally just said, I had a friend, I asked her to talk to a guy for me, she started talking to him for herself. And that hurts so much. And I would never put another person through that. And that's just like, I knew she wasn't going to be, and that's like when I was saying earlier, like I cut people off easily. I cut her off right then and there at the beach because I knew she wasn't my real friend. And now there's no chance of reconciliation ever because she decided to attack my character. And I do not take that fucking lightly. I don't. And so it shows her true nature. It shows that she doesn't trust me, that she doesn't love me. And, you know, it was ugly. We argued. She called me names. I called her names. I called her out. And I hate to say it, but I annihilated her. I ate her alive. I chewed her up in that argument. She did not win that at all. But I'm very proud of how I handled this situation. Pat on the back to Alex. I think I handled it to my best ability. I cut her off when I realized she wasn't my real friend, and I dealt with her accordingly, and I showed her, even though I am nice, even though I'm loving and I'm caring, don't fucking attack me, and don't fucking attack my character at that. And that's how you have to be. You have to stand your ground, and when someone shows you who they are, believe them. I learned that a very long time ago, and she showed me who she was, and I absolutely believe her, and we will never be friends. And I'm okay with that, because I only want, what? Real friends in my life. Okay? And with that, I am concluding yet another episode of Literally My Life, My Guide to Girlhood. This was such a great episode. I really like this episode. I love doing this again. I'm so happy to be your host for 7 months now. It is fucking insane. I'm so grateful, and I love you guys so much. I celebrate my Guide to Girlhood on the 24th of every month. I love you guys. Before you go, please follow at Literally My Life MGTG on Instagram and TikTok, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And I would also like if you guys would follow this podcast and rate it. And I always love your ratings, and I love you guys leaving comments under our Spotify and Apple podcasts. I love you guys so much, and I will see you guys next week. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel because we have a YouTube video coming out today, and I love you guys so much. And always remember to stay true to who you are and stay true to your real friends. Mwah. I will see you guys next week. Bye.